The Indo-Pacific, sometimes known as the Indo-West Pacific or Indo-Pacific Asia, is a biogeographic region of Earth's seas, comprising the tropical waters of the Indian Ocean, the Western and Central Pacific Ocean, and the seas connecting the two in the general area of Indonesia. It does not include the temperate and polar regions of the Indian and Pacific Oceans, nor the tropical Eastern Pacific, along the Pacific coast of the Americas, which is also a distinct marine realm. The term is especially useful in marine biology, ichthyology, and similar fields, since many marine habitats are continuously connected from Madagascar to Japan and Oceania, and a number of species occur over that range, but are not found in the Atlantic Ocean. The region has an exceptionally high species richness, including 3,000 species of fish, compared with around 1,200 in the next richest marine region, the Western Atlantic, and around 500 species of reef-building corals, compared with about 50 species in the Western Atlantic. Since 2011, the term Indo-Pacific has been increasingly used in geopolitical discourse. It also has symbiotic link with the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, an informal grouping of like-minded democracies in the region, comprising Australia, Japan, India, and the United States. The concept may lead to a change in popular, mental maps, of how the world is understood in strategic terms. The WWF and Nature Conservancy divide the Indo-Pacific into three realms, and each of these into a number of marine provinces. The Central Indo-Pacific includes the numerous seas and straits connecting the Indian and Pacific Oceans, including the seas surrounding the Indonesian archipelago, the South China Sea, the Philippine Sea, the north coast of Australia, and the seas surrounding New Guinea, Western and Central Micronesia, New Caledonia, the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, and Tonga. The Central Indo-Pacific, due in part to its central location at the meeting of two oceans, has the greatest diversity of corals and mangroves. The Eastern Indo-Pacific surrounds the mostly volcanic islands of the Central Pacific Ocean, extending from the Marshall Islands through central and southeastern Polynesia to Easter Island and Hawaii. The Western Indo-Pacific covers the western and central portion of the Indian Ocean, including Africa's east coast, the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Persian Gulf, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Andaman Sea, as well as the coastal waters surrounding Madagascar, the Seychelles, Comoros, Mascarene Islands, Maldives, and Chagos Archipelago. Some seashore and coastal plants are found throughout most of the region, including the trees Pisonia grandis, Calophyllum inophyllum, Heliotropium arboreum, Pandanus tectorius, Cordia subcaudata, Guettada speciosa, and the shrubs Scaefola tacada, Suriana maritima, and Pemphis acidula. These plants have adapted to grow on coral sand, and have seeds adapted to crossing salt water, including distribution by birds or which can survive floating in salt water. The trees coconut, candlenut, and Morinda citrifolia originated in the Central Indo-Pacific, and were spread further across the region by human settlers, with the rising involvement of the U.S. in the new growth areas of Asia. The idea of the Indo-Pacific Economic Corridor was conceptualized during the U.S.-India Strategic Dialogue of 2013, when Secretary of State John Kerry referred to the potential of the Indo-Pacific Economic Corridor in transforming the prospects for development and investments as well as for trade and transit between the economies of South and Southeast Asia. Indo-Pacific Economic Corridor. K.Y. Home in his scholarly study has mapped out the potential for various emerging trans-regional corridors in Asia along with the challenges of linking IPEC into the larger web of regional economic integration initiatives taking shape in the region in 2017. Since 2011, the term Indo-Pacific is being used increasingly in geopolitical discourse. The concept is not new to the geopolitical discourse. The German geopolitician Karl Haushofer first used it in the 1920s in his academic work called Indo-Pazifischen Raum. Since then, intermittently, many analysts sought to describe the geoeconomic connect between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. However, In the contemporary context, beginning the 2000s, analysts began to observe the security linkage between the two oceans. In this context, the term was first used in an article authored by Gurpreet Khurana, which was carried in the January 2007 issue of the Strategic Analysis Journal titled Security of Sea Lines, Prospects for India-Japan Cooperation. In the article, the term Indo-Pacific refers to the maritime space stretching from the littorals of East Africa and West Asia, across the Indian Ocean and Western Pacific Ocean, to the littorals of East Asia. The spirit of the term was picked up by Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, as reflected in his SPE,